In this video, I thought I would take some clips of me using my Ultralight Backpacking Axe and kind of show how I use it. It's a pretty oddball piece of gear. Generally speaking, people who are into ultralight backpacking don't use axes, or certainly wouldn't take them on the trail with them. But I like axes. I could use a saw, but I just enjoy using axes. And so I took it upon myself to find a axe that was very light, still effective, and easy to pack, of course. Now, one of the issues with using a lighter axe kind of comes up in conversation between me and my friend right here in this section. And that is that you have to swing a lighter axe with more speed. And this causes accuracy to be more difficult.
Like if that axe had more weight, you could just break it in one, break the whole thing in one hit.
It doesn't have the weight, so it needs the speed, which makes accuracy harder, which is why lighter axes are harder to use, but they're great for packing.
So what I'm doing here is making cuts one at a time in sequence down the length of the log. And once I've gone through the length of the log, making one cut per section that I'm trying to cut out, I then rotate the log. And I do this 4 times, and the goal is to make 4 intersecting cuts. And once I've made those, I'm left with a small bit of wood still supporting each section in the center of the wood.
Doing this.
And at that point, it's very easy to break off the individual sections without using the axe. You can only do this with certain diameter wood.
So you're more efficiently processing that.
That's the idea. This is a hobby in itself for me.
So with small enough diameter wood, you can get away with a single cut or 2 cuts, but eventually you'll have to use more traditional bucking techniques.
Huh. Yours is angled so steep.
Cuts better at an angle.
Here you can see me breaking apart the different sections by smacking them against a rock. They break apart very easily in this case.
So, most of those 4 cuts. Oh, I missed a couple.
And I'm left with a very nice stack of wood. Here I'm working on bucking out some more branches or limbs to take down to the campsite and eventually cut into separate sections and add to the stack of wood. Don't ask me why I like to whistle while I work. It's something I picked up in my 20s. I'm trying to work very carefully here because there's a lot of rocks in the ground, and as I'm cutting down into the limb, I don't want to go through it and into the dirt and rocks and chip up that thin, sharp edge on that light axe.
Thankfully, it's not as long of a list as it used to be.
Here you can see that the limb moves backwards, and this can be a problem because the axe doesn't cut in as deep. Once the limb kind of settles in and stops sliding backwards, you can tell it cuts much deeper. And we're left with a nice pile of firewood, relatively quickly and easily gathered.
Do you use the audio?